Welcome to the Disrupting Obesity podcast. I'm Charlotte Skanes, and I'll be sharing ways to regain control over your body and lose an extreme amount of weight naturally. Being fat is about so much more than just the food. It's about your relationship with food. That means that dealing with your weight is about more than just the food, too. You have to change that relationship. You have to start disrupting obesity. I don't owe anybody my body, and neither do you. I show what I want to show when I want to show it. And I don't even just mean in the online sense, I mean generally too. I recently did a video on Instagram where I talked about how I was moderately frustrated because we've hit the point in the year where people start asking if I'm hot in what I'm wearing. And I say moderately frustrated because I've had a lot of years of practice with this and it's more boring than anything else at this point. Every year, as soon as the weather begins to get consistently good, it starts back up again. But nobody ever seems to give a shit in the winter if I'm wearing long sleeves or not. So I'm not sure why it's headline news now. You can't win with this. It's just not possible. If I showed a little skin when I was fat, like I wore a tank top or something, I needed to cover up. I'm being ridiculous apparently for not wanting to show my arms or legs. And yeah, I know I'm sweating. I'm obviously hot. So why are you asking? Why do you want to talk about this? Like, I'm just not sure what sort of an answer people are expecting. What if I said yes? I am quite hot, actually. I'm sweating my balls off. But as embarrassing as that is, I would still rather do it than show you my arms. So why is it that we're talking about this? Also, yeah, I know I'm being vain. I don't care. My arms shrink by half when I put shapewear on them or even just wear a tight enough shirt. Depending on the fabric, I have to go up 2 or more sizes to accommodate my arms in tops. And then the actual shirt part is like super baggy. I have as much loose skin on my arms as I have actual arm. And I'm self-conscious about it. And I don't want people in my life outside of my house to see it. This is a bit of an aside, maybe, but I know it's a thing and not just for me. I'm cold a lot of the time, probably most of the time, and I get cold very easily. Like I could be feeling good and the sun goes behind a cloud or a breeze picks up and I'm looking for a hoodie. I don't like being cold at all. That's another reason to wear long sleeves and long pants. When I was fat, I was hot a lot of the time. Still probably colder than most people my size because that's just the way I'm wired, but I was hot a lot. I'm also a sweater, no matter what size I am. But once I lost the weight, I was cold a good chunk of the time, very cold, like anything below 25 and I want a sweatshirt. That's 77 degrees Fahrenheit. And I hear from other people who've lost a lot of weight that they're cold a lot too. So I know it's not just a me thing. But for sure, the covering my arms and legs is a vanity thing, not a temperature thing. I've got loads of loose skin on my legs, not just my arms, and I don't want to show it off either. I can look like I'm living in a completely different body depending on the pants I wear. And no, just because I'm comfortable walking around in leggings doesn't mean that I'm comfortable showing my actual legs. And I get that it might seem like the same thing to some people, but we know that it is definitely not, right? It's the compression and the covered upness of it. I kind of feel like that brings us to the wear the shorts people. Stop telling me I'm letting the team down somehow because I don't want to wear the shorts. Me wearing or not wearing shorts has nothing to do with anybody else. Me saying you don't have to wear the shorts if you don't want to is kind of the same thing as the whole wear the damn shorts campaign because it's all pushback, right? Fat girls were always told they couldn't wear shorts. They shouldn't wear shorts. They just oughtn't. And I'm all aboard for getting rid of that because seriously, fuck that. Everybody should wear the shorts. Anyone and everyone who wants to wear the shorts should put them on. Wear the shorts is all about giving people who didn't feel that they could do something the power to do it. It's very freeing. It's also very freeing to have the choice to not wear them. There was no choice before. Wear the shorts campaign for choice. That's also exactly what I'm saying. I'm choosing to choose not to wear them. I don't want to. If it's 40 degrees with the Humidex and I'm in my own backyard, I might put on a pair. but only if I plan on sitting still, because shorts, they're not practical to work in for me. They ride up, they don't stop things from sticking to my legs if I'm down on the grass, and I hate that. It's just no, I don't want to wear the shorts. And I don't give a shit who thinks I'm hot or if you think I'm letting the team down. I am curious about why you want to know. And when I talked about this, someone very kindly commented that they would ask me because they would be genuinely curious, because they're always on the hunt for long sleeve shirts that don't make you overheat, because they don't like showing their arms either, which is a vibe I'm always into. But that's not the vibe. Aren't you hot in that? Is bringing to the table, right? It's all tone. I'm cool with curiosity. It's the snide derision I'm not a fan of. When it's hot, blouses are for sure your friend. Flowy materials, not necessarily sheer, but thin. I like eyelet too, the fabric with all the holes in it, but not tight, because that plus my arms is a disaster. And you've got to watch it if you're going to be in the sun, unless you're a fan of polka dots. And that's way worse if the eyelet fabric is tight. It's like jeans with rips in them. I think some of them are super cute, just cute as hell, but my skin will dribble through, and I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and I don't even just mean that abstractly, like, oh, I just don't feel comfortable. I mean, it's concretely and literally uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't feel good either. It's okay to not be comfortable. It's okay to not like the way your body looks. And for the life of me, I can't understand how a movement that claims to be all about positivity can fail to understand the other side of the coin, and worse, shame people for it. I think you can be body positive and still have things about your body that you want to change. I'm insanely body positive. You should hear me go off about how amazing I think what's left of my pancreas is. I'm also firmly behind everybody who loves their body at any size. Bodies are amazing things, and you deserve to love it exactly how it is. You also deserve to be able to feel however you want to about it, since it's your body. So if you're less than pleased with it, that's okay too, and you don't deserve to be shamed for it. Where's the neutrality? Because it's not a positivity thing if anybody is left feeling shamed at the end of the day, which makes me feel like a hypocrite for shaming the shamers. But it's just unnecessary. And I guess that's my issue, right? Like, you can say, I love oranges all day long without having to drag the poor apples through the mud, you know? Nobody is letting the team down because they don't want to wear the shorts, or they decide as a fully informed adult that they want to lose weight for whatever reason. There are no teams in weight loss. It's an individual sport. Nobody else can eat for you or make the mindset changes you need to get the weight off and keep it off. Sure, we can encourage each other and support and love each other through it, but nobody can do it for you. There's no teams, no matter how you choose to do it, right? And no matter how you choose to do it, weight loss is hard for everybody. We can't start turning on each other. Being in a calorie deficit is difficult. And whether it's surgery or carnivore or calorie tracking, it's all hard, even if the reasons why it's hard are different, because the challenges are all different. I happen to think that the easiest way to do it is to track what you're eating. Since all of the diets and plans and surgeries only work if you're in a deficit, and yeah, that's how they all work in intermittent fasting and intuitive eating too, the only real weight loss shortcut is to track, because that's how you know you're in a deficit. I also know that isn't what anybody wants to hear, and that's all right. I'd say I don't like being the one to say it, but I don't actually mind saying it. It's not an opinion. I haven't picked sides. I'm just saying the facts. That makes it pretty easy. I would have a harder time trying to sell you on keto or the grapefruit diet. But at the end of the day, both of those diets only work if you're in a deficit too, right? Now, if all you're eating is grapefruits, getting into a deficit would be an awful lot easier than keto. But I know I couldn't have eaten grapefruits exclusively for nearly 2.5 years. So it wouldn't have mattered. If it isn't sustainable, there's no point starting, whether or not you want to wear the shorts. But some people kind of like that I don't show my body all over social media. That can make people uncomfortable. It can also make weight loss seem even more unattainable, I think, when the focus is only on the physical. And for me, the physical changes are kind of secondary. I feel like the underlying emotional stuff and the actual nuts and bolts of how to get the weight off are more important than how much thinner I look. I mean, don't get me wrong, that part is great. I love feeling comfortable and at home in my own body. And I didn't when I was fat. A big part of that was because of how I felt about how I looked. But I do tend to prefer a more modest approach now, especially, I've got kids and I'm a mom and yeah, I don't know. I wish I was one of those people with the bikini before and after pictures. I love that content. I think it's fierce as hell. And I think I do wear tight clothes that show my body a fair bit. Sean would love it if I made the switch to anything other than leggings. Not for modesty reasons. He doesn't care what I wear. He almost never even expresses an opinion. I just think that after seeing me in them pretty much every single day for close to a decade, he might feel like the looks played out. But I have heard from my pro modesty flamingos. Some of you think it's just fine. And I really appreciate it when you reach out because it's always nice to know you're not alone. And I've heard from my hijabi flamingos. Apparently, people like to ask you if you're hot too. I mean, why? Why does anybody give a single shit what anybody else is wearing? I don't get it. This is just ridiculous. Does anybody else just want to turn to the next person who asks and be like, it's not making you hot. Deal with it. And for the love of God, keep it to yourself. Because no, Gladys, it doesn't actually make you hot just looking at me. That's in your head. And frankly, it's symptomatic of your larger problem of thinking things are about you when really they have nothing to do with you. It's not that different when you have an opinion about how processed my foods are or whether or not the canned soup is going to give me cancer. Wear what you want. Eat what you want. It's your body, so you can put whatever you want into it or on it. The fear-mongering and the shame have to stop. None of it is helpful at all. Feeling bad about yourself isn't going to help you make good decisions. You need to build yourself up so that you have the confidence to keep going because you can do this. I want to help as much as I can. You can grab a copy of my free guide to getting started for the last time through the link we'll include in the notes, and you can find my weight loss workbook Disruptor on Amazon. If you want to go hardcore, there's the program. That's 53 weeks to change your relationship with food and learn how to get it all off and how to keep it off so you don't join the 85% who gain their weight back. Reach out anytime. I love your questions, and you can find me on Instagram or my website, disruptingobesity.com. Have an amazing week. Keep trying, keep tracking, don't be intimidated, and don't give up. You've totally got this. Thank you for listening to Disrupting Obesity with Charlotte Skanes. If you know it's time to take back control, lose the weight, and keep it off, reach out to me privately with a direct message on Instagram that says ready so you can start disrupting obesity.